But Supriya, the big question now is that how would you harness this sentiment further? Because many times it happens, and it does happen that BJP tries to divert the attention by bringing in some issues, which was some extraneous issues will come up, and suddenly the entire media, and including the alternate media, when the alternate media is also forced to pick up those issues. So what will you do now if the BJP adopts the same tactics? So is that the reason why you are thinking of a phased investigation into these 70 Lok Sabha constituencies so that you can keep the momentum on, which has been generated?
No, not just that. I mean, if you actually see our pipeline from the 17th of August, Rahul Gandhi and our allies in Bihar together launched the Voter Adhikar Yatra, and that's going to be big. We are going to be covering various districts, multiple constituencies there. And the whole idea of doing this is that people should not feel helpless. People need to realize that we stand by them, we stand for their right to vote. And now with this thing being made public, I think some very basic questions are going to be answered. For instance, the Election Commission says, so this is 65 lakh voters who were deleted. There are 3 crore voters who've given their document for the first time, who after 2003 have had to give their document. We don't know where they stand. The Election Commission has put out not a single tweet to say that we have assessed the document of so many have met our parameters, so many have not. Today is the 14th of August. This deadline finishes on the 31st. What is happening to those 3 crore voters? So I think multiple questions are going to be raised, and I think it's important that we channelize this. Yes, there's going to be a phase-wise disclosure. We are working on some of the constituencies. It is also true that the Voter Adhikar Yatra is being done with a view to keep this issue alive, to take this issue to the people of Bihar, because they are going to be the first who will be impacted as far as the SIR and its arbitrariness is concerned. So I think that's where we stand. We will keep the momentum going. And I can tell you one thing, Neelu, if you saw the elections of 2024, what was the one encompassing issue? It was that we've got to save the constitution of this country. Yes. That cannot be trampled with. The BJP tried to get Mujra and Mangal Sutra and aapki bhais chura lenge, aapki ladki ko le jayenge, all kinds of very polarizing political narratives. But eventually the election boiled down to that. So no matter what the BJP does, they may want to they may want to demolish a dargah somewhere, they may want to do some other issue somewhere. The reality is that you cannot be delusional. I was actually, just before I came to the show, I was reading the BJP president's tweet on the verdict of the Supreme Court today. And he almost sounds delusional. He's saying, this is no big deal and the Congress is celebrating some fuzzy moral victory. I mean, you've got to be delusional to think that the EC has not been put in its place. Forget about Congress or BJP. And which is why I go back to making the argument that I made first. This is not BJP versus Congress. This is not Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. This is not opposition versus the government. This is about the very right to vote, the very essence of our constitution, which is one man, one vote. And I keep saying it in Hindi, and if you allow me, I will say it for one and at a time. आप गरीब हो, आप अमीर हो, आप इस देश के सबसे अमीर आदमी हो, या आप इस देश के सबसे गरीब आदमी हो, आप प्रधानमंत्री हो या आप दिहाड़ी मजदूर हो, it doesn't matter. You have that one right to vote, and that right is very, very powerful for people who exercise it. I mean, look at the names that are coming up in Bihar, in Orai. Whether it is Pinky Paswan, it's the Dalits, the Mahadalits, the Pichras, the Ati Pichras. They are at the receiving end of this, and for them, that right to vote is very, very precious. Far more precious to some people here in urban Delhi, or people who sit and chat politics but would like to take that long weekend off when there's a election day. For them, voting is almost a religious duty, and they feel threatened by this, and they're not going to take this lying down.
Are you hopeful that I don't know what the final order will be and how soon that final order will come, but the final voter list, which will be published on 30th of September, but do you think that all these 64 lakh names which have been deleted, now they're supposed to be putting up those names with the reasons, except for the people who are really dead? But apart from that, are you hopeful that all of the other people will find a mention of their names on the voter list? Because that's a worry, that despite this interim order, will these names appear on the final voter list? And if it doesn't, then the purpose is lost, whatever interim order is given.
I'm not a pessimist. I do believe that it is not going to be easy for the election commission to steal votes. Vote ki chori to ye nahi kar payenge, because now it's well exposed. Now it's before every Indian. I mean, is it not ironic that the same election commission, when we did the Mahadevpura numbers, we saw that the election commission had accepted, the CUET admit card, Shadi ke card, as address proof, and you're not accepting Aadhaar. The election commission itself, I think on the 18th of March this year, had said we will link Aadhaar to Epic. Now you're not even accepting that. So I do believe there are lots of anomalies. I'm not a pessimist. I think the people of this country will take this movement forward. Of course, we'll be standing by them, and people like Rahul Gandhi have staked a lot there. He's been that one lone, fearless voice. And I think what people really appreciated was that he spent time. He said that this was happening. He didn't come out without any proof. He had proof. He had hard-nosed data that backed him. And the results is for all to see. So I'm not a pessimist. I think the people of this country are not going to take it lying down if their votes are going to be stolen, and if mass stealing of votes happen at that level. Look, people may once in a while be forgiving of a government or be forgiving of the misgovernance. People are not going to take their democracy being taken for a right lying down. And which is why the 2024 elections give me a lot of hope. The mandate there, BJP was talking about 400 plus, they are short of a majority, they're at 240. I mean, you look at the allies of the BJP, they're not talking in strong fervor that, okay, this is right. They're also maintaining a studious silence around some of those very gritty issues.
You were talking about the credibility of the election commission just a short while back, and looking at the slogans which were heard in the parliament, outside parliament, vote chor, gaddi chhod. That has almost become like a war cry just in few days' time. What about the credibility of the prime minister, his image? Of course, like vote chor has just gone viral. But when you talk about the credibility of the election commission, what about the credibility of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at this point of time because of this campaign?
I will echo the line that my leader said, and I completely 100% strongly believe in it. Narendra Modi is the prime minister of this country क्योंकि वोट चोरी हुई थी. वोट चोरी नहीं हो सकती, वो प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बन सकते थे. For all practical purposes, the reality is that he is the prime minister of this country because he won those additional 25 seats. 25 seats here and there, he would not have been the prime minister. That's the reality. And like Rahul Gandhi says, you give us digitally readable data from across constituencies, and we will prove that Mr. Modi is an illegitimate prime minister. He does not enjoy the real mandate of the people. You give us that data, and which is why the election commission, along with the BJP, is not giving data. The reality, Neeluji, is that the election commission has no credibility whatsoever. Just like the ED, just like the CBI, just like the income tax, it has become a puppet in the hands of the BJP. But what about the prime minister? Your studious silence on something as big as, the very fundamental of our democracy, free and fair elections, is deafening. Your conspicuous silence is deafening. The fact that 300 MPs, 300 elected members of parliament wanted to march to the election commission and you did not have the guts to let them march tells you how shelter scared you are. That's the reality. 300 MPs were being treated as if they were dreaded terrorists. I don't know why they were stopped. There was barricading. They were stopped by sheer brute force. What was all that about? And the fact that women MPs were being physically stopped. What was all that about? Why were they arrested? Why were they detained? I mean, 83-year-old Congress president who's been in public life for 60 years, Rahul Gandhi, a 5-time MP. So I am just saying that a lot of what this government is doing is now knee-jerk. I do believe they believe that their days are numbered. I do believe that they believe that vote chori is out in the open. It's before the country. The country understands that this is not a mandate that they voted for. That mandate has been stolen. So I agree with Rahul Gandhi 100%. You give us a digitally readable list, we will tell you Mr. Modi has no business being the prime minister of this country.
So my last question to you, Supriya, is that what is the final outcome of this vote chori campaign? Do we see elections being countermanded? Do we see you all going to the courts, getting wherever the investigations are happening? And I'm just going by the numbers which you have given, that 70 Lok Sabha constituencies, the entire India bloc is looking at investigating the voter rolls in all these constituencies. So what could be the final shape of this entire investigation, which will unfold in the coming days?
Look, the final shape is not a war we have waged. The final shape will have to be that we need to go back to the very basis of our constitution, the very principle, the very foundation on which our democracy is built, which is one man, one vote. Any Indian who is of voting age should have the right to vote. And even if one Indian is denied that right, it is a counterproductive exercise that the Election Commission is looking at doing. I do believe that this is going to put an end to this false narrative that the BJP builds up. There's an election in Bengal, intrusion and Ghuspatia comes in. There is an election in Delhi. How many Ghuspatias have you arrested? I mean, that's the question. Have you arrested a single person who has crossed our borders? Have you arrested a single person who's living here illegally? Not one. Not one. And that tells you that every time there's an election, this rhetoric will come back once the elections are over. But I mean, do you think people of India are going to buy this argument? I'm not so sure about that.
Well, what bigger irony than you just spoke about that people are worried about one man and one vote, but BJP is worried about one nation, one election. So that's basically.
So a lot of people, by the way, believe that exercise is being pushed so as to ensure that this can be done easily. So as to ensure that a mandate can be stolen far more easily than ever. And a lot of people believe that, and I'm not averse to that school of thought at all.
Many just on the end note, Supriya, many people are saying that with the kind of investigation which is going to open up as far as the vote rigging is concerned, maybe we could see a situation which we saw unfolding in Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, where the electoral officers being imprisoned. You don't foresee any such situation?
Look, I belong to a political party. And we believe in the principles of Mahatma Gandhi. We are India's oldest political party. We fought the war of India's independence with peace and ensured that the British left this country. We drove them out. So I have a lot of faith in India's democracy. We are a peace-loving nation. We are a nation that believes in our values. We believe in the fabric of our country. I don't see any of that happening. But yes, I do believe that anybody who tampers with the mandate of the people will have to face the law of the land. There is a difference in what those people are saying, the fear-mongering that is happening, versus what we are saying. There is a law of the land. If you violate electoral mandates, if you tamper with people's ability to vote or their electoral mandates, you will have to pay a price before the law of this country. No matter where you are, no matter where you settle down, no matter where you or when you retire, if you are going to tamper with the very basis of our democracy, be ready to pay a price for this. I do believe India is an extremely peace-loving nation. We abide by our laws. Whatever we talk about is in the realm of those laws.
Well, I must congratulate you also, Supriya, for putting up a wonderful social media campaign on this particular expose and the kind of memes, the kind of small stories which are coming up. People are really loving it. But thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Niruji. Thanks a lot.